I'm here today to read to you a letter from my father to the President of the United States, Barack Obama. For as long as I can remember, he's written almost weekly letters to whoever happens to grace the desk in the Oval Office. Before I begin, I wanted to share with you a few words about my dad and the kind of man that he is. My dad's been a tried and true Republican his entire life. I've never known a man so steadfast in his convictions and so firm in his beliefs. But despite his convictions, he's always had an open mind. He's always listened to me, and he's always taught me to think. My father is an intelligent, wise, and great man, and I'd also like to add that, as of writing this letter and as of now, my father is no better off financially or physically than he was 4 years ago. In fact, after having gone through foreclosure and bankruptcy and losing our childhood home, I'd say he's decidedly worse. Still, he stays steadfast in his convictions. And the beautiful thing about my father is that despite the deteriorating conditions around him, he sees each day as more beautiful than the last. Here are his words to our president, Barack Obama, which he entitled Confessions of a Republican Voter. Dear Mr. President, I come from a family whose parents were married over 50 years, die-hard Republicans most of their life, but also devout Roman Irish Catholics as well. I agree, it's a strange combination. They loved my sister and me unconditionally and each other even more, providing one of the finest upbringings an American can have, even though I doubt my father ever made more than $40,000 a year. My dad was a POW, a veteran of the Bataan Death March, 3.5 years in various Japanese prison camps, the last one 35 miles from Hiroshima when the bomb went off. In his life, he had 4 heart attacks. The last one actually got him into heaven when he was 79. His doctors couldn't believe during the last 10 years that he could actually walk into their office. Yet he stayed active, mostly volunteer work, never used a cane, and absolutely never complained. Without the VA, disability awarded to him after a long, hard-fought battle by my sister, an accomplished lawyer, the help of an Ohio congressman, and his Social Security, his life of service would have been rewarded with nothing. He died, as he told his Bible study the morning of his death, as he wanted to, with his boots on and doing something. This humble man had well over 700 people attend his funeral. As I became of voting and working age, I rose up the ranks of the world's largest paper company, then on to several very successful jobs with other companies running their sales and marketing and helping turn them from losing money to making it, getting me the reputation of a turnaround specialist. I claim myself an independent, yet I voted Republican, because I thought it was good for business, and what was good for business was good for the people of those businesses. As an operator of several businesses, including one of my own, I believe the success of the company depended on how well I served the employees. I admit, over the years, I received much gratitude. I tell my children now that I am ashamed I ever voted Republican. What goes on with this party today literally shames me. The horrid misinformation, the lack of regard for anyone not of their view, even more tunneled now than ever, is more than embarrassing. What are they thinking? Certainly not of us. In a sense, since 2004, I was held hostage by one element of their 4-year platform, abortion. In this, I do not waver, believing it is the worst choice a mother could possibly make. But, with some help from my daughter, who studies for her PhD in political science, I realize while the Democrats may advocate the choice, and I sense they don't like it, to kill inside the womb, Republicans do a much better job of killing after we get out. I realize it is the woman's choice. I just wish she wouldn't have to make it. It certainly does not belong in politics anymore. In 1998, I was struck with one of those insidious diseases, a severe case of fibromyalgia, a form of CFS that adds more pain, a lot, to the equation. I fought it out for 2 years, but on the insistence of my family doctor, applied for disability. Between a private one I purchased, Social Security, and my wife's insurance, a teacher of over 25 years, we got by, even paying for about 3/4 of our children's education. Thanks, Dad. The disease confounds me to this day, 14 years later. Now my health costs are 4 times as high as they were, and this was before your health plan got off the ground. In 2007, my wife retired from teaching and we started a candle business called Black and Light Company. Our mission was to help support those in greater need. It started off with a bang. We even got an approval for an Obama and Hope candle for your 2008 campaign from your campaign staff. While it ended up being too late for the actual campaign, we did send a sample to Michelle, for which she graciously thanked us. In our first 3 months of shipping, we sold over $40,000 worth of candles, which brought us to September, where we had over $100,000 worth of orders. Summer of 2008, we applied for a business line of credit. Our credit was perfect. We never missed a payment or anything in our life. All looked good until the 11th hour, 4:45 on a Friday afternoon. The bank pulled the line with no explanation. So we dipped into our own lines of credit with our credit cards and kept sailing. Then, September 15th, 2008 came, and the Lehman Brothers. Within a week, all the orders we had for September and October shipments were canceled. Having already sunk $40,000 into the business, we remortgaged our home to the max and vowed to fight it out. By January of 2009, we had to lay off all 7 employees. My wife, even me with my disability, and my oldest son tried to keep it going through internet sales. Now out of credit, we dipped into our Roths, IRA, annuities, and cash value of our life insurance policies. We put in every single cent we had, and the 3 of us continued to fight all the way until 2011. I know what finally did us in. The mess you inherited in 2009 was too much for a small company depending on discretionary income. It wasn't our business plan, our product, and our service, all excellent. It was definitely the result of the unabashed greed and mismanagement by the government and their collusion with the banks. George and company left us with something we could not overcome. In October of 2011, we filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. We lost our home of 20 years, which we worked very hard to make a place the kids could come home to over the holidays, with all kinds of things incorporated into the house from our parents, from things like doors and windows to an addition so my mom could live with us after my dad passed away. We did most of the work ourselves, building a classic deck with a phenomenal fire pit, built with stones we hauled from the Lake Michigan beach only a few hundred yards away, 4 to 8 at a time in our backpacks over the course of a 4-year period. As I watch the Republican campaign develop, I'm becoming so disappointed in that party. Hence, my shame and the realization that it was their policies that destroyed our dreams and our finances. And let's not even mention the Iraq War. What a blunder that cost not just trillions of dollars, but lives, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, and I imagine even a few grandparents, leaving their children to grow up without them. Mr. President, in my 57 years, starting out when I was about 9 in the Barry Goldwater and Johnson campaign, I have never been more proud of a president than I am of you. What you have accomplished is phenomenal. It might be too late for us, but it isn't too late for our children and our grandchildren. That is what matters. You are the most grounded president I have ever seen. I used to threaten to move to Canada or some of the things our politicians did. This time, if our country blows this, I think I will move to Ireland. Both grandmas were pretty much pure Irish. This is probably not going to happen, but I dread going back to that system that ruined us. Thank you so much for all that you've done. Thank you for your values and for your integrity. Thank you for making the most politically tough decisions, even if they have damaged your chances of re-election. Thank you most of all, and Michelle, to your dedication to our military families. As the son of a World War II POW and a hero who served in the National Guard for 25 years after the war, I think your efforts with our military and the way you finished off one more and will another are something my Republican father is very proud of as he looks down from his vantage point with the Almighty. You, your dear family, and our country remain always in my daily prayers. Clement. My father is a great man. He has worked incredibly hard his entire life and had the great misfortune of being struck down by a disease that left him unable to do the work that he was used to. Even still, he worked as hard as he could to give myself, my brothers, and my mother the life that he felt we deserved. And Yet, for some reason, he's included in the 47% of people that Mitt Romney says he feels is entitled. He's included in the 47% of people that Mitt Romney says he'll never be able to teach responsibility to, that aren't responsible for their own lives. I have to tell you, I have never met a man more responsible and more dedicated than my father. And what's more, he's taught me to be responsible for my own life, to be kind and good to others, and to work hard. My father is a Michigan man, and for those of you who know what that means, his vote is incredibly valuable. If you're still an undecided voter, or even if you're a Republican who is still wondering which way you might vote, I just want you to think about the experience that my father has had, and think on his words to our president, Barack Obama. Thank you.